Yeah, I want to go through these and let you have something to go off of just to help guide you through them. I've changed some of the values so you won't be able to just copy it. Um, but let's just go ahead and start with number six. So this coffee company, they're trying to fill 12-ounce containers to make sure it's in control. They do a sample and look at what they're actually getting. So when the process is in control, the range of the coffee weight samples averages zero point 0.6 ounces. So we're going to develop an R and X bar chart, and we're looking at the last five samples taken. So here's what we're going to do. Right here, we are going to sum those. So just an auto sum. Uh, I just drag it over here so it sums these to get your X double bar and excuse me, R bar. You're going to divide it by the number of samples. So what we're going to do here, select it, divide it. We've got five samples. So there we go. Then again, I'm just going to slide that value right over to fill that in. So we've got our values that we need right now, and here's our chart. Um, and we're going to first look at the UCL, which is the upper control limit. So here is the formula. So it's X double bar plus A2 times R bar. So here's the what we do. We're going to put in a formula. We've got X double bar already right here. And that is going to be plus A2. So we come up here, we're doing an X bar chart. Here's A2. We have five samples. So this is what we're going to use, 0.577. 0.577 times R bar. Pretty simple. Just to make sure it works right, I'm going to put this in parentheses. I don't think you really have to, but kind of got used to doing that. So there are your values. Center line is X double bar. So here it is. Control C, Control V. Oops. Gonna have to paste values. Lower control limit, very similar, except we are going to subtract it. So X double bar minus A2 0.577 times R bar, and there we have it. So we've got our upper control limit, center line, and lower control limit. To construct this chart, there's different programs and add-ins that can do more of this for you, and if you want to use them, great. Um, but for this example, I'm kind of doing it the manual way, the way that you're going to probably have to do it, most likely, maybe not. But I'm going to copy these down so I can build this chart. Now I need to paste values. We don't want to, if you just paste them down, you're going to get different values all the way through here. So paste values. Now I'm just going to select all of this and I'm going to insert double line. And you can see it looks kind of crazy right now, a little messed up. So what you need to do is just go into select data. The first thing we see, these series, this is the series going across. So we know that we want those values on the bottom. So we're going to switch that. Then we don't really care about having this sample in our chart. We're going to have the numbers on the bottom here, so it's going to be fine. This is we don't really care if we have, well, we do, I'm sorry, we do want the X bar. This is the X bar chart. Lost myself a little bit there. When we do the R chart, we'll want the range. So we're going to take the range out and then, okay. So here's your chart. You can do some things to help this make it look a little better. One thing I like to do is, it's labeled down here, but you might click in here on this and add a label. So add data label, and I'll change that to UCL. Oops. You don't have to do these things, but if you really would like to make it look prettier, this is a good way to do it. Add data label, and you just have to change this again. UCL, oh, sorry, LCL, lower control limit. We'll do that for the center line as well. Data label, just click in here to change this. So center line. I won't do this on all of them. Another thing I like to do is click on our values here, our X bar values, and go ahead and add data labels to that one. That way we know where they were at. So now we've got a pretty good looking chart here. I'll change the title. X bar chart. I might change it to something else, whatever. But my point here, I'm gonna scoot it out of the way, is that like I've discussed, that you come in with some data and some graphs and be able to show it, you're going to look like a star. So being able to construct these are important. You can even change it up, maybe do that, looks a little better, stretch it up a little taller to kind of pull it out of, see how that kind of runs into your center line, or maybe change it around, and you may be better at this than I am, and can make it look really nice. But that's usually pretty good. So let's go ahead and jump down to the R chart. Okay, it's the same process most of the way. So I'm just going to copy this. There it is. Got the values, same thing. We're going to go to the upper control limit. So this one's a little bit simpler. So our upper control limit is D4 times R bar. So we're doing an R chart, D4, number of samples. So there's 5. So we're going to do 2.114 times R bar. Got it. Center line is R bar. So we got the center line. LCL is D3. We come up here and there is no value for D3. So guess what? We know that it is 0. Right before, we're going to copy, put them in here, paste values. Now we're going to work on our chart. Insert. Here we go. Same process. We're going to select data, switch the row and the column. We don't care about the sample. And then this one, we don't care about R bar. We want the range. And we're going to pull this over. So I'm not going to go through the process of making it look all pretty like that one. But when we look at this, I am going to go ahead and change the name though. R bar. When we look at this, remember, we've got to look at them together. So if we're wondering if this process is in control, from one perspective, we can look and see, you know what, it's out of control based off the X bar chart. And you know what, if I'm looking at this R bar, this is awfully close to the center line. So I feel like maybe it's not in control just because it's hugging that center line. Maybe it's not. Maybe you want to get even smaller. Um, Maybe you like it hugging the center line more, possibly. But that is how you do the X bar and R chart. So let's jump to the P chart. Now on the P chart, what we're going to do is total these. see if I can do both of them. Auto sum, there we go. We're going to take P bar, which is how many errors we have divided by number of samples, which is 0.11. And then we're going to take our Q bar, I need to pause this for a minute. Okay, sorry, I had to take care of something real quick. So the Q bar, all it is 1 minus a P bar. So right here, we've got 1 minus P bar. So we've got that. We're going to complete this portion of the control limit. This to me, this is the best way to do it. You start trying to get complex Excel formulas, and for me, it doesn't work out. So I like to do a simple step by step. So we're going to have to do P bar times Q bar divided by N bar and then square root it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and get the N bar. The N bar is the total number of samples divided by the number of times we sampled. So 10. So it's 20. Okay, so we're doing this formula inside this square root. So we're going to go P bar times Q bar divided by 20. And I'm going to put this in parentheses so it doesn't throw anything off. I kind of think Excel's smart enough to do it the right way, but I still like to do it like that. And then we've got to square root it. So we're going to go to a formula. We're going to insert function, square root. As you see this SQRT. So if it doesn't pop up like that on yours, just type it SQRT and it'll come up. So we're going to square root this number. Then we've got that value. So now that we have these, we're really able to go ahead and take care of the UCL. So here we go. This is P bar plus 3, which is going to be times. And go ahead and put the parenthesis there. 3 plus our square root here. I'm sorry, I'm going to back up. I did that wrong. It's not 3 plus, it is 3 times. The reason that Z value that you get is 3 standard deviations. So that's where that's coming from. Most of the time, it's going to work from 3 standard deviations. There we have our value. Our center line, total number of defects is, I'm reading that, but we already have a P bar. No point in that. Let's see, I did it again. Need to make sure I copy the value. All right, so let's do this again, but subtract our Z, which is 3. Okay, so we have our P bar minus 3 times square root. There we go. We've got our lower control limit. Now, one thing we want to look at here, we're looking at defects. I didn't talk about the problem, but I know this is defects from tire manufacturer. So you can't really have negative defects. So your lower control limit is going to be 0 if it's a minus. Let's take it, copy. Remember, we're pasting values. Got that in there. We're going to build our chart. On chart here. We're going to have to do some changes this time. Now this time it does have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for each sample set on the bottom. So we like that. We don't need to change it. We don't need the sample number in there. We do need the number of defects, don't need the number of defects, because what we're looking at on this is the proportion. Um, and I think I may have skipped that on this part. So to get the proportion, let me go ahead and just do the chart first. Okay, so there's our chart. I think I forgot to do the proportion in here. I don't think it does that. So all it is the number of defects divided by the number of samples, and then put that in there. Hope that makes sense. Um, so there's your chart. Again, I'm not going to pretty this one up or put the different, add data labels, the UCL or LC, UCL, centerline, LCL. You can just go like that with this one. So that's that chart. This one also has where you're going to add more. So all you're going to do is add those values in and just figure it again. You can just insert, should be able to do that pretty easily. Okay, so here, what we're going to do, this is an example for number 10. We're going to average these. So your C bar, you could sum it and average it and do it that way, but I think it's easier just to go up here to formulas, get your average. Okay, that's right, 3 through 14. I always just like to check just to make sure. And you've got your average. Okay, so we've got C bar now. So we know that we're going to have to square root that to get our value. So I'm going to go back up here to functions, square root this value. Got it. Okay. So next step, and I know that makes that look confusing, and I hate that I left that in there. Should have put the formula in. What we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and figure up this upper control limit. So C bar plus 3 times the square root of C bar. Oh, I see. Put an equal in there. Plus. Okay, so we've got that value. Next, the center line, we already have it. Did it again. I don't know why I want to do that every time. Lower control limit is going to be C bar minus 3 times square root. Got another negative. And remember, this is the number of errors. We can't have a negative number of errors, so we're just going to change that to 0. Copy. Paste values, so they're in here. Now, insert chart. This one has a little less work to do. Select data. What we want to take out is week. We want number of errors, but we want to pull this line down here. You can see that blue one out of there. And there we go. Again, you can make it look pretty if you would like to. Add data labels, change the title, change the look, all that. But anyway, that is how you do it. So if you have any questions on it, be sure and let me know. Some people panic, some people, seem to do pretty well with it. So wherever you're at on the spectrum, it's okay. We'll get through it. But I want you to be able to know how to do it or remember that you can do it and probably go back later in life and YouTube it and figure out how to do it. But anyway, if you have any questions, let me know.